What's up, everybody? This is Bar911970, and as always, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my video. Alright, guys, today's one of those days, so I thought I haven't made a rant video in a while, and I think to help myself improve my day, getting things off my chest and out of my system is a very therapeutic thing to do, so why not make something positive out of a negative situation? Now, of course, this is not really going to be for those who get it, those who take the time to do or try and do the right thing. For those of you who are getting it, learning it, appreciating it, sharing it. I'm talking about probably the other 95% of the world who just walks around oblivious, not caring what's going on, not taking responsibility for things. And I understand it's not easy. We live in a corrupt system. And especially when it comes to the financial system, it's very hard to get out of it. But you can decrease the participation. In other words, instead of going out and getting loans all the time, instead of investing in a corrupt stock market, instead of having 12 different bank accounts, instead of getting 6 different mortgages, getting to the bare minimum and trying to get out of the system shows that you're making the effort. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's just easy to just drop everything. Because, for example, I have a business. Unfortunately, I need credit cards to be able to maintain my business. Without them, my business would fail. I would go under. So that is a very stressful situation. But I'm also, every time I make any kind of money, I take that money out of the bank and I put it in a federal credit union. Or I invest it in physical gold and silver when I can, if I'm not getting food, supplies, or anything else, and trying to turn it into something more positive. So I understand it's not an easy paradigm to get out of. But we all have to start taking responsibility for our participation or lack thereof. And the majority of people who just walk around saying, Christmas time is the time where you spend thousands of dollars because that's the only way you could show somebody you love them, and to take out all these loans and do all these different things and not caring about truth or situations, but pointing fingers and saying, oh, we need to fire the banksters for what they're doing, or we need to get rid of these government people because they don't know what they're doing, and they do nothing about it, then it's part of the problem. And when do we as a society wake up and unite with each other? I see so many factions of people on this side, this side, this side. They all pretty much are trying to do the same thing. They do it in different ways. But some people have such an ego that they don't want to take the time to help others. Or, you're too small, I can't deal with you. Or, you're not important enough. Or, I can't get enough revenue off of you. Or, I can't get enough views off of you. Obamacare, for example. Everybody's complaining about the fact that it's not working. Everybody's complaining about the fact that the government had 3 years and spent over $640 billion and outsourced it to a foreign country, which Canada is, believe it or not, and it's not even working. And yet, no one is trying to stand up and get somebody fired. No one's saying anything other than complaining about it. And I'm part of that problem, too. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, I'm standing on the corner every day doing the right thing. It's not always that easy when you're trying to have your life and trying to maintain a family and keep your house from being pulled under your, from underneath you. It's not easy. I'm about to fight foreclosure. And I know enough to know there's a corrupt system, but I don't know enough to get out of the situation yet. So I'm in a crossroads, a middle ground, where it's very frustrating. And I'll win regardless. I'm not worried. I can lose everything. I've done it before. I can do it again. I don't care. It's not that important to me. What is important is getting everybody out there to say enough is enough. Because when government tells you you are mandatorily responsible to get things like health care or will fine you, that is not a democracy. And if you study the history of this government, we did not start out as a democracy. We started out as a republic. Why are people allowing this to continue to get worse and worse and worse? How do the people not see it? Or do they not care? I mean, I understand when we're all in ignorance. When you don't know what's going on and you're not informed, you have an excuse. But once you know and you still decide to do everything else because it'll make you some quick bucks, then you're part of the problem. We all are. And that's why I try and take more responsibility. Yes, when I sell an Oregon pyramid or I do a massage, I have to use a credit card. And I do take cash, money. I would gladly take the gold and silver if anybody had it. I actually have on my brochure, I accept gold and silver. Not one person has ever asked about it, let alone used it. But I'll take that money and I'll use it for my business, or I will use it for buying gold and silver. I won't invest in stocks. I won't just dump it into a bank account and let them, do whatever they want with it. The majority of my money goes into Federal Credit Union. Little of it I have. So I know there's hypocrites out there that want to point the finger and say, oh, look, he's still in the paradigm shift. But yet I am not trying to profit off it. I'm not trying to become a millionaire and take advantage of people while other people die. I don't go to Walmart anymore to buy frivolous things. I don't buy video games. I don't go to sporting events anymore. And people say, oh, well, you're ruining your life. You're not as happy. You know what? I would rather be angry and miserable and upset, but do the right thing, than to allow the system to continue and actually contribute to it so I can get my own personal joy out of my life while other people around the world suffer. Because as long as I don't see them, then I guess it's not a problem. Like, for example, when they have the black market, Black Friday coming up, and you'll see people trampling over fellow human beings to get a sale, like a $15 DVD player. Let me explain to the average person out there, and I hope you show this to somebody who actually doesn't know about this. Because I know my subscribers get it, so this is not really for you. But for those who don't get it, for Walmart to be able to get you that $15 DVD player that you'll trample another human being to get, they have to first invade another country and use the excuse of liberating them, kill a bunch of people, whether it be women or children is irrelevant, they'll just call it collateral damage, take over their gold, their silver, their water, their resources, their lithium, all of that stuff. They'll take it over, then they'll create a puppet government, so they'll get rid of whatever government they have, because as the United States of America and other countries around the world go, if you don't agree with us, then you're our enemy. We have to interfere with your own personal business, overthrow you, and then put in our own government. And that's liberty? Just imagine if somebody tried to do that to your country. You'd be pretty pissed off too. But just imagine if, for example, China came over and attacked us to free us from Obama's tyranny. And they put in their own puppet government, and they killed a bunch of us. Well, if we fought back, that would be all right, wouldn't it? But then what if China said, oh, those are terrorists, because they're fighting back? See the hypocrisy in it? But let's continue with that $19 or $15 DVD player. So you invade another country, you kill as many people as possible, you overthrow their government, you start a puppet government, then you basically use child labor because you could pay those people $1 a day instead of people in your own country, would actually require more money, so they can have the cheap labor to be able to afford all the stuff that they've stolen, ship it over to the country where they don't have to pay taxes or reduced amounts, because we pay it all. We finance all this stuff, by the way, because how do you think they pay for those wars? They steal money out of your own pocket so you could save a couple of dollars on a DVD player. You ever think about that? So all the taxes that you have to pay, all the high prices you have to pay for things like gas and stuff, that goes to finance this stuff. So we have to find a better way. Do I have the answers for it? Absolutely not. But I am not going to be a hypocrite and sit there and say, I'm going to enjoy my life and just pretend none of that stuff is happening. Because as long as it's not happening to me, I got to get mine. And we wonder why we're in the shithole that we're in. And it stresses the hell out of me, because the 95% of the world is going to affect us that try and do our best to help. So I don't know if there's answers, and it's frustrating. But again, like I said, when I'm in a stressful situation or I'm not feeling my best, the best way is to vent it out, get it out, and maybe bring something positive. Because maybe this video awakens one person, and then they awaken one person. Then I've done a good thing, and I'm proud of it. I wouldn't change it. I can handle this stuff. But I'm so tired of the hypocrisy, because look at where our government's going. Go from right after World War II and how Americans lived then, and go till today, and look how many things have been stolen from us. And so as long as we still make that money, as long as those people make their stock quotas, they're perfectly fine with it, contributing to the system. And I know it's not easy to just get out. But don't keep the same levels once you know that what you're doing is contributing. And there are a lot of hypocrites out there that like to point fingers at everybody else and never look at themselves. I take full responsibility for what I've done. And once I knew the system, I started pulling my money out of the banks. I cut up all my credit cards. I don't take out loans anymore. I don't spend my money frivolously. Like, for example, my birthday's coming up in about a week and a half, November 9th. I don't want a present. I don't want my family to think they have to buy me something to show that they love me and appreciate me. And Christmas time, I don't want anybody to get me a present for the same reason. Because why? That makes corporations more money, and they use guilt trips to make you feel that the only way you could show love is by purchasing something for someone. I'm not part of that system anymore. That's why I cut off my cable TV. I can afford it. I don't want it. I don't want the lies. I'm not going to sit there and watch Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, and all these liars try and force propaganda down my throat. That's for the moron, the simpleton, the ignorant, the people who just don't care. So I am mad. I'm angry, and I'll get over it. I'm going to go sun-gazing after this. I'm going to be at peace. I'm going to be glad I did what I did. And I'll get the haters. I don't care about them, because they're a bunch of hypocrites anyway. If we all could find a way to work together, maybe we wouldn't have to experience altogether ultimately what is happening to this world. Because it's supposed to be, at least in this country, the United States of America Corporation, and I know there are people who make fun of that, and those are people who don't care enough to actually research the fact that it is a corporation, that we are all responsible for what our government does. Because isn't it supposed to be we the people? Well, when was the last time we the people stood up and said no more? You know, we don't like what these banks are doing? Take your money out of the banks. Wouldn't that solve the problem? You don't like the way a product is being run, then stop buying it. Or the aspartame. Or the fluoride. You know what? I don't buy fluoride toothpaste anymore. I have to spend more money to buy the non-fluorinated. But you know what? It's my way of saying I'm not going to be part of it. And I have a fluoride removing filter in my water. And I will only buy either bottled water from the spring water, or I will buy distilled water. So I'm making an effort. So those of you who complain about the banks and yet still have a bank account, it's very hypocritical. Open up a federal credit union. You could get the same benefits out of a federal credit union than you can a bank account. But if you put all of your money into a bank account like Chase Morgan, HSBC, or all these others that have been caught in the LIBOR scandals and all of the money laundering schemes, then you're part of the problem. You're basically saying, do what you got to do as long as I get mine. And one day that's going to be taken care of. It's going to be taken away from you. Because if we've learned anything in history, is there is no honor amongst thieves. And they will use people to a certain point to where when they don't need them anymore, those are the next level to go. And if you think you're immune to it, you'll find out one day that you were sadly mistaken. And if you don't prepare for it, that's your own thing. So if you want to call it fear porn or whatever you want to call it, that's absolutely fine. I am so tired of the average person. They spend more time making fun of other people and hurting other people instead of saying, what can I do to encourage somebody, to enlighten somebody, to make somebody's day a little more brighter? And that's why they say it's much easier to destroy than to create. So I'll take the flack for that. I'll take the abuse. I'll take the hatred. I'm used to it. It doesn't stop me. People think it might hurt me because I get a little aggravated every now and then. Okay. Doesn't stop me. I'm still here and I still will be here, and I'll still tell the government that all of our presidents, since John F. Kennedy and even beyond, or before, have done nothing more than help the rich people, the ultimate elites that control the world, and steal from us poor people. But we're stupid enough to say, Oh, you want me to bend over? How far do you want me to go? How long is this going to take? Because I don't mind as long as you throw me a carrot afterwards. Is that how you want to be? We've all been that way. At one point, I was worried more about how the Yankees were doing. I wear this hat as a reminder. I was more worried about playing my video games until 4 o'clock in the morning and wondering why I was stressed out all the time, breaking, controller after controller. If I got so pissed off I got shot that I throw it against the wall. I mean, really? I look at myself now how I used to be and I laugh. Never again will I be that way. And was I happier back then? I don't know. I was happy having fun, getting drunk all the time, partying with my friends, but I had no goals in life. I was always depressed in that way. I was always angry and never knew why. So at least my anger now becomes more positive because I've learned to better myself. If anybody's seen my old channel, I was a lot heavier back then because I was drinking the soda. I was eating all the garbage. I was going to McDonald's every day. Now that I know that they put all that toxic crap in McNuggets, for example, why would I ever want to put that in my mouth? I don't get it. All right, let's see what you guys say, but don't worry about me. I'll be fine. So you don't have to say, I know there are people who care and say, you're stressing yourself out, this, that, thing. This is how I vent, this is how I get over it. After I'm done with this video, I'm perfectly fine because I get it out of my system. It's like taking a sponge. Once you drain all that water out of the sponge, it's no longer wet. So I'll be fine. I just want to know why the average person out there wants to complain about the world but not do a damn thing about it. And when I post on my Facebook, 90% of the friends that I have don't even bother to respond. And one day they could potentially lose everything, and they're going to sit there and have the nerve to actually say, oh, how did this happen? I didn't see it coming. Sorry, America. Sorry, world. 95% of you are full of shit. You don't like it? It's because it's true. Say what you want about me. I'm trying to do my little bit. As you can see by my videos, I can't reach thousands, and I've tried. But I'll never give up. If I get one person to wake up, if I help one person, then I've done something good. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. I appreciate it. If you've watched this to the end, I want you to say, McDonald's sucks. Could be any other. You could say Burger King, Wendy's, doesn't matter. I don't want to. They're all in there. Or how about this? Corporations suck. Let's stop it helping them to continue. Peace.